Hi guys, I had a little bit of extra time today and so I decided to do a couple more pocket cards for my project life. These are all of the photos from the week of May 23rd to 29th. There are a lot of photos there. I'm not going to scrapbook all of them, but I always err on the side of printing too many photos. These are some 4x6 cards that I pulled from my stash. I don't know where they're from. This one has corners on it, so like not rounded corners, it has sharp corners. So I'm guessing it's from a Scraptastic club kit, like from a This Life Noted kit. Depending on how old it is, it could even be from Studio Calico, but I think it's Scraptastic. And so I'm just kind of making those two Snapchat photos so that they're a little bit staggered there and layered on top of one another. Like I just kind of threw them down and they landed that way. And I'm doing some more journaling strips with my grid cards, which is a standard procedure for me. That's what I usually use for my journaling strips. Just using my tiny attacher to staple them on. So it says, here's the story. They really love using my Snapchat. I'm going to add something to this in a minute, but not quite yet. I'm going to add the camera. Sorry. I'm also going to add a little caption, but I won't do that quite yet. So I'm going to zoom out in a second here because that's an awful picture of me. I'm trying to kind of keep it real. And that's a photo of me. I didn't take my makeup off the night before. I was really lazy. And so I woke up and I had eye makeup on my eyes. And so I was going to put that in my project life just as a little funny thing, but it's not going to make it actually. I definitely want these two to go together, that large piece of artwork and then the picture of Sophia drawing the artwork. I want those two to go together. So I grabbed one of those flip flap pocket things from Snap. And then I needed to make this photo smaller, so I just cut off the end of it, and then I'm just gluing just the white border back on it so that it's kind of layered. You can't even tell that I did that once it's done. And so here I'm just spreading the photos around the page protector. This is a Design A Becky Higgins page protector. And I'm going to treat it like a Design F, but I'm going to put, anyhow, I'm going to make mostly 3x4 cards, and then any 3x4s that have to slip into a 4x6 pocket, I just put a grid card. I just use a grid card as my background. So there's the caption. I can't remember what it said. I think I hold it up. I'll hold it up at the end. I forget what it said. And I don't have it here with me, apparently. I thought I did. Sorry. But I will show all of these cards in more detail at the end so that you'll get a chance to see them all. So now that I have the photos spread all the way around, normally what I'm planning to do with my quick pocket scrapbooking is quickly lay out all the photos everywhere and then go through and add cards like I'm doing right now. So right now I'm at the add card phase, and here's where I just kind of take a look through what cards I have available and think about which cards I want to use on which photos or for which journaling, and also think about how I'm going to spread the colors and the patterns all around the layout in a way that looks pleasing. So that's pretty much it. Now, in this case, I did start a little bit different because right off the bat, I wanted to scrapbook those two Snapchat pictures. So that's a little bit different than the process that I plan to normally do, but that's okay. This is just too busy, so I need to look for a more muted, and this one is gorgeous. It looks plain from here, but it's actually a very fine chevron black and white pattern. It's mostly white, but it's very, very pretty. I just need a card for that last pocket that doesn't have a card. There we go. So this is my basis, and so that's why I'm zooming in now so that I can I'm just going to take each card and attach the photo to the card and then add anything else that I need to add to it. So in this case, I'm grabbing some stickers, some letter stickers, because I'm going to, and I'm just checking to make sure that I have all the letters that I need, and I don't have all the letters in this red. And my cat won't leave me alone. I have to actually take her out of the room because she won't leave me alone. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing now. So I'm, again, just looking through my letters, making sure that I have the right letters. So these are very, very old, and I have been using them up. And so I have to check every time I spell something and make sure that I have enough of the right letters. So this is called Lifestream, this project. And it's basically a visual representation of Sophia's life so far, and also her future life. So I'm spelling out life with these little letter stickers from a larger sheet of stickers. I don't know where they're from, but I cut them off of a sheet that had designs on them. And so I like it there. It's kind of nested in the T. It looks good like that. Lifestream, but it's looking a little, that circle underneath looks a little weird. Like stream looks like it's precariously balanced on that ball, which looks weird. So I'm going to put another word down here, just the word project. And these are from Gossamer Blue, these letter stickers. I love them. They're so tiny. They're perfect for when you don't have enough space for a word. You can almost always fit that word on if you use these letters. So I'm just scooching them all over because I didn't leave myself quite enough room. And they can be a little bit fussy just because they're just so tiny. But that just kind of anchors the word stream and makes it look a little bit less like it's balancing on a ball there. I just used my stapler because I'm trying to keep Project Life as streamlined as possible. I don't want to go over to my sewing machine and sort out the bobbin and the thread and all that stuff. So normally I would sew over those letters, but I'm just using my stapler to keep them in place because I can't be bothered with sewing. I mean, I can be, but if I take the time to do all of those sorts of things, then this isn't going to be any faster than scrapbooking. And I need this to be faster because I've already demonstrated to myself that I will procrastinate this project if it's difficult enough. So here I'm going to do quite a bit of journaling here. It's quite a little bunch. Let me get it so I can read it to you. I mean, basically, I don't have to read it to you. You can see it as I write it if you're that interested in it. But basically, I'm just writing out all of the things that we did when we went to New Glasgow for the funeral. So, you know, it's not very heartfelt or anything. It's more just factual about the things that we did and the fact that we were kind of busy in the middle of things, as is often the case when somebody passes away. And so we had to kind of put everything aside and go home. And that's what you need to do when somebody passes away. And then I talk about the fact that because we had kids with us, you know, life goes on, and they were sad and upset, but they also wanted to play in the pool as they should and that sort of thing. So I think having the kids with us really helped us be grounded through the whole experience and remember our joy and that sort of thing. Scott's grandmother was very old. She was 93, I think. And she had been living with Alzheimer's for the past several years. So she really is in a better place. We will miss her for sure. But we're also very, very relieved for her. So here's another card. I kind of went up to the top row now, and I'm kind of all over the place, but the cards are still all laid out, so I'm not going to get mixed up or anything. And I just use my adhesive to attach. That's just a screenshot of the workout software that I use. And I forgot I wanted to work backwards, so I took that B and I just stuck it to the top of my sticker package so that I can go backwards from N and spell out the word burn. And then I want to spell out daily with these letters, but I don't know how big the word is going to be until I spell it, so I'm just going to put it on my wax paper. I don't use wax paper quite as often in my pocket pages as I do in my scrapbook pages, just because I'm trying to do my project life much, much faster. And so I'm trying to be less fiddly about things, but at the same time, I do want it to look nice. And so that's why I will sometimes take the time to lay it out, especially if I'm not sure how much room it's going to take for letters I don't use very often and that sort of thing. So now I have this card, and I thought that looks kind of funny with that circle sticking out. So I thought what I'll do is I'll take my 2-inch punch and I'll just punch it. And I think that looks pretty good. I just wanted to show you that it was my 2-inch punch that I used there. I think that looks pretty good. It's just a picture of our board game. We were playing Pandemic, and we had to play it 3 times before we could win. It's a cooperative game. It's actually really, really great family game. My 9-year-old likes it, and the 16-year-old liked it, and my husband and I liked it. It's great for all ages, and it's really cool to have a game where you work all together. It's the first time we've ever tried a collaborative game. It's really nice because one of my daughters gets really, really emotional every time she loses. And so it's nice. It's still good to practice losing when you have that problem, but it's also nice to have a family game night that doesn't have to be a big intervention of somebody's self-esteem. I don't know if you guys have that problem too, but sometimes I just want to play a board game. I don't want to help somebody try to feel better about themselves, because it's like it's daily with one of my daughters. She's really, really emotional. And so it's nice to just work together and either win or lose, we're in it together. So that's kind of nice. I don't mean to sound mean or anything. We love her. We love her and we take good care of her, but boy, is it nice to have a game that doesn't end in tears. So now this kitten picture, in order for it to be where I want it to be, it would cover up some of that banner, which I really like. So I just cut it out with my craft mat. It's a self-healing mat that I have there, and an X-Acto craft knife. It's actually Fisker's craft knife. And then I just added some outlining just to make the card have a little bit more contrast on it. And then I'm just adding a little caption there. It's the quote from my Instagram. And then it says that sentiment doesn't make sense. It's my shining star. So I'm going to cover it first with some washi tape. I'm going to just layer some things on it. Then I thought I'd put a word sticker or a couple of word stickers, but couldn't find any that were big enough to hide the whole thing. So then I took this little chevron sticker, and I remembered I had a kitty cat puffy sticker, and that's really cute there up on top of the banner. And now I just need something to go in the middle of that. No, not that one. I do like that explore word right there because the kitten is very, very curious. That's the wrong color. I like the shape, but the wrong color, so I just switched it for a gray. And that one is done. So again, adhesive on the photo, adding the photo to this card. This is not my favorite card. I think I could have chosen a better background if I was being more thoughtful about it, but it's done and I'm happy about that. So I'm just going to do the caption here. It says, Liv helped Scott install the TV antenna, I think it says. And I got to use one of those house puffy stickers, which I love. Here I'm just adhering the obituary onto this really pretty background card. I really like that card, and I like an obituary, like sympathy cards. I like them to be kind of understated, and I'll talk about that at the end a little bit too. So I'm layering these photos so that the strip in between them, the white strip in between them, is the same size as the strip all the way around. And then it says Spring Spectacular. And then I just put hashtag Penny's Boat because that's a reference to Lost. That I got her to do that that gesture, she had that written on her. She had "Don't Forget Cello" written on her hand because she had a special concert that night. And my daughter is so responsible. She always remembers stuff herself. Good thing, because I'm very, very, very forgetful. And so she came downstairs and she had that written on her hand. So she ran back upstairs and got her cello. Thank goodness. I would have never remembered that she needed her cello that day. So thank goodness for writing things on your hand. Anyhow, I got her to take that shot. I said, just put your hand up so I can take that for my project life. And then I remembered after I saw the photo that it looks a lot like that photo from, like that shot from Lost, the scene where Charlie is dying. One of my all-time favorite scenes in that show, which is my all-time favorite show. It's kind of tied with The Walking Dead. I can't decide which one I like more. Anyhow, in the meantime, I added that other photo and just journaled all the way around it. I am pretty much done now, so I decided to go back. I went to the internet and I printed up a photo of Charlie with "Not Penny's Boat" written on his hand. I'm just going to add that to add a little bit of relevance to the photo of Olivia. And it's also going to cover up the picture that I have of my whiteboard at work. There's nothing confidential written on that whiteboard, but I just don't like my work-related things to be kind of front and center in my project life. I do occasionally put a little bit of work stuff in my project life because it is part of my life. I try to do it in a way that's respectful to my work and that sort of thing. But I don't, as I just said, I don't like it to be front and center. So I'm going to design this card to go over top of that, and I'll put another flip pocket there. And those are by Snap, those flip pockets that I keep taking out. I'm just looking for, I've got 3 sheets of these letters stickers and I'm running out. I ran out of Y's of all things. It's funny that that's what I ran out of. So I'm trying to spell out here, "Lost is everywhere," because it really is. If you're a fan of the show, you can find references, ways to reference Lost in your everyday life all over the place. Like I often refer to the orientation video. Whenever somebody does something wrong in my house, I always say, "Didn't you watch the orientation video?" And then we're just always referring to the show, and our kids who haven't seen the show probably think we're crazy. But yeah, we just love it. So anyhow, "Lost is everywhere" is what I'm spelling out here with those amazing sassafras letter stickers that I love so much. And you guys, if you follow my channel, you know I talk about them all the time. And yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble placing the word "where," but I'm just going to go with it, even though there's way too much overlap there between the Y and the H and the W and the R. It's like a mess, but that's okay. I added a little dash, and it's all right because it doesn't have to be perfect. See, that's the difference between a scrapbooking page and project life. If this was a scrapbook page, I would have probably tried to make that look better, but you just got to let it go. Here I'm looking for something to put on the flip side of that card that I just made. So "very blessed" is just not very authentic. It's not something that I would say. So I switched it to the other saying, which is also not all that really something that I would say, but it's more me than "so very blessed." I just don't talk like that. It's not that I don't think that I'm blessed. It's just that that's not a vocabulary that I would use to say that. Yeah, so now I'm at the adding extra details phase. So now that I've added titles and photos and journaling to every single card, now is the phase in which I go back and I take a look at the sticker sheets and the embellishments that I'm planning to use. And these are just a small assortment. I'm not looking for the perfect embellishment for every one of these cards. I just have a bunch of packages of stuff that I've had pulled out for using with my project life. I just pulled a bunch of stuff now it was about 6 months ago, that I planned to use and just kind of as a way to use it up. It's stuff that I love, but it's been hanging around my scrap room for too long and I just need to get it used. So I'm just kind of burning through these stickers every time I make a project life. layout, I just go through and add a bunch of stickers at the end. And so you see me just trying out different stickers in different places and adding a little something here and a little something there. I know I said I wasn't going to embellish that obituary card, but it felt a little plain next to everything else, so I put that tree on it. I thought a tree was sort of relevant. Tree of life or something. But it looked a little lonely there, and it was getting a little lost with those flowers in the background. So then I decided to add a little label, and I'll layer the tree with the heart that goes on the label, and then I'll get my roller date stamp and I will stamp the date that she passed away. So I'm just going to my ink caddy and getting my basic gray ink, which is by Stampin' Up, and just trim down that label a little bit and stick the little end on it back on the sticker sheet just in case I ever need to use that. And okay, so I'm finished this spread, which is the week of May 23rd to 29th, and I'm just going to share this with you guys just really quickly because you would have already seen my process. Here's how this card looked. Really, really simple. I'm really just adding stickers and journaling and photo to the cards that are already there. I think the cards are already beautifully designed, and I don't feel like I need to do a whole lot to it. Yay, we finally beat pandemic. And then you saw me punch the photo with my 2-inch circle punch. I like how that looks. And then a kitty card. And then this one. This one is of my daughter up on the roof, which is not something that I would want her to do, but my husband and I have different ideas about that. So he brings her up there very, very, very carefully. This is actually the first time that she's ever been on the roof, but he often lets her, well, he let her one time climb up on the ladder to help him put the Christmas lights on the side of the house. That really terrifies me, so I have to not be around when they do that. Our roof, it's not like a terribly high roof, but it's high enough that she'd be very injured if she fell. He's very, very careful with her, and she has to sit the whole time that she's up there. Anyhow, it says Liv helped Scott install the TV antenna, and we're really lucky because part of our roof is just not very sloped. By the angle of the photo, it looks really sloped, but it's not all that sloped. She was safe up there, or he wouldn't have brought her, although I can't be around because it doesn't feel safe to me. Then I have these two sort of go together. So what I decided here was I had this, which is a picture of my whiteboard. One of my clients, one of my younger clients, had written me this really cute little note. I covered up her name with flowers, but I still just didn't feel like I wanted this to be on the outside, just for her privacy. It's not really privacy. Nobody, it's completely, her name is gone from it, and anybody could have written this. It's not terribly heartfelt or anything. I just thought it was really cute, and so I wanted to keep it as a little, you know, it's nice to keep little inspirational things from work. So I wanted to keep it, but I just didn't necessarily want it to be out on the front page. So because my daughter had this written on her hand, and I said, hey, put your hand up and I'll take your picture. It was after I took the picture that it reminded me of Not Penny's boat from Lost. And so when I put it on Instagram, I used the hashtag Not Penny's boat. This is actually about the Spring Spectacular. It's not about Lost. And I have number 1 pointing to Mr. Froud because he's our number 1 music teacher. Anyhow, I thought that a good thing to cover this, to make a little flip, would be to put kind of like reference to this in case, you know, there's a time when I don't remember that. Or if, you know, somebody's looking through my book who isn't familiar with Lost. It just says Lost is everywhere, and then there's that picture. It says one of my favorites, and that is kind of right next to there, so you can kind of see. I didn't put an arrow because I didn't think you really needed an arrow to know that that's what that's referencing. Then the day of the obituary, I didn't actually keep the pamphlet from the service, which I wish I had. I'm sure somebody has it. It might be in my purse. I know I meant to keep it, so I don't know. I might have just misplaced it. But anyhow, I printed up the obituary, and then I just added a label and a little puffy sticker. I wanted to keep it very subdued and understated. Whenever I do either sympathy cards or something in memory of somebody, I try to do the least amount of embellishing possible, because I feel like it's not supposed to be about me and my craftiness. It's supposed to be more about marking the loss of this person. So that's what I did for that. And then this was a fun card, just marking a little quirkiness about Sophie. I journaled all the way around. It says, Sophie never sleeps in when we stay at hotels. Thank goodness for early breakfast buffets we can sneak out to, because we sneak off and let the other people in the room sleep. We usually, well, this time it was Scott and Sophia, usually, and Livy. Scott and Sophia and Livy just slept away up there, and Sophie and I went down to the breakfast bar, which opened really early. It opened at 6:30, which usually they don't open until 7 or 8 on the weekends. So these are just some fun Snapchat filters. I let my kids use my Snapchat because they don't have their own Snapchat, but they really have a lot of fun doing it. So those are some images that they snapped. And then I just put this little caption on there. It says passing time at the hotel, then just a photo or a camera. This is an old Amy Tan puffy sticker, and then this says here's the story. It was just on the card already, and then I just did some journaling strips. They really love using my Snapchat. And then the last one, it kind of documents two things at once. So this was Sophia's project that she was working on. Isn't it cool? It's called a life stream, and it's kind of a pictorial that tells her entire life story up until now. I think is somewhere around here, and then it also kind of like goes into the future and what she thinks her future will hold. So that's pretty cool. It all means something. She explained it to me in great detail, so it's really cool. So anyhow, she brought this project with her to the hotel. We obviously weren't expecting someone in our family to pass away, so we were sort of in the middle of a bunch of stuff, and so she just, we had very little notice that we'd be spending 3 days out of town, so she just packed up her project and brought it with her, and she was working on it in the hotel room. So I just journaled there. It says Sophia worked on her live stream project in the hotel room, and it just says live stream project with various letter stickers and then a puffy sticker. And then on the back here, I did some journaling, and again, I didn't really decorate it. This is journaling all about the funeral, basically, and our trip back to Scott's hometown to mark the death of his grandmother. So, and there was like a celebration of her life at his mom's house and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to document that. So this is the spread for last week. I'm really pleased to be back on track and catching up a little bit. I plan to, every week, I plan to do that week on the Sunday. And then if I have time, I'm going to go back and fill in some of the gaps, but I'm mostly just going to be working forward. So this is one example of me going back and filling in a little bit of a gap. Anyhow, I will see you, hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed that I will see you next week with another Project Life Process video. Take care and have a really great scrappy week.